Okay. Hello, hello, hello. There's nobody here, and that's probably my fault. Um, I did not pre-program the system. Usually I put it in about 3 hours before I'm going to go live, and I got distracted, forgot that I hadn't done it. I was getting ready to come out here and start, and I was double checking things, and all of a sudden I realized I didn't even have it programmed. I didn't have it set up. So I'm sure others will show up as we go along, but it was kind of again, distracted. I was like, well, wait a minute. Where's my, where's my opening? Where's my thing? So anyway, we'll wait for some people to get here. I see I have 8 viewing currently. And I apologize for not posting sooner on YouTube so that people knew that it was going to be coming up. Sorry about that. Let's see. I have some people showing up. We got 9 viewing now. Okay. If you haven't been here before, excuse me, this live stream, we focus on classic cars as much as we can. And sometimes we get off tangent, sometimes. But we try to answer questions for people. If they have a question about their classic car, then they need some advice, we try to answer it. If I don't have an answer, I've got a group of people over here on the left. I guess, yeah. You're viewing right, I guess, that usually have a pretty good answer. If you get a good answer, you get a bell. I don't have anything for bad answers. So hopefully we don't get any of those. Again, we've got like 12 here, which, it's Thursday afternoon, so I don't expect 500 people to show up, but you never know. You never know. So let's see who's here. We have Scott Keeney checking in, Ronald Bell checking in from Northeast Tennessee, Bob Knoll. Good afternoon. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good, I think. I hope you are well. March Indy just checking in to give a thumbs up as farm duty calls. Yep. Got to take care of the farm. James Smothers, afternoon. Glad you're here. Kenyon, it's me again from Ohio. Good afternoon, all. Glad you're here. Rick Gain, hi, Barry. Hope the bell works okay today. Yeah, it's, sometimes it works perfect. Sometimes it doesn't. Out of Gas Garage, Ricard checking in. How are y'all doing? I'm glad you're here, Ricard. I think, I was thinking about it earlier. There's been a gentleman on here. His name escapes me at the moment, but he's from the UK. And I haven't seen him on here in a while. And I don't know if he, I know normally on Thursdays he shows up and he would have to drive to where his wife works at the hospital and pick her up and then bring her home and make her dinner. So I haven't seen him in a while. So if you're out there, I hope you're okay. But as I said, I was doing stuff in the shop, got distracted and forgot to set up this, in a queue so that it would be, I usually try to do about 3 hours ahead of time. I try to get it set in there, and I didn't do it. So I'm a little out of sync, if you haven't noticed. Wait a minute. We have Brendan checking in from New Zealand, about to head to work. All right. I'm glad you're here, even if it's for a short period of time. Now, as far as what's going on right now in the shop, we all know, I'm still prepping the Mustang, sanding on it. In fact, I did a live video on Facebook earlier in the day where I was showing wet sanding technique, block sanding, style. I have not filmed really much of anything on that. I have done some time-lapse videos where I've sanded, I put guide coat back on it. I've sanded that with 400, and now I'm in the process of sanding it with 600 to make sure it's smooth. But I have not filmed, any of that. And it's just, I've done it in time lapse, and partly because it's really boring. Honestly, even if you're watching it, it's got to be boring to sit there and see that it's repetitive. So I'm trying not to keep it too repetitive. I guess, the thing is, it's all I'm doing is working on cars and, motorcycles and stuff. But I am working on, getting the car ready for paint. I had aspirations of trying to get it in paint by this weekend. I forgot our daughter's birthday is this weekend. So that's going to tie me up. That's going to tie me up for that day. And then beyond that, I've also registered for a car show. Not really like a, I don't know if there's any awards or anything. I'm not worried about that. But they needed people to bring cars to this car show to try to develop a, I don't know, following or whatever. So I signed up for that, and that's going to take place on Saturday as well. And I'm just going to take the Model A. That's my go-to anymore. It's probably the closest thing to being complete of anything that I own. So I take it. Let's see, James. I'm off work for the next 3 months for spine fusion surgery. So the plan is to watch all your videos all over again since I can't work on my 67 Mustang, which is on hold. Gotta love life events. Ouch. Spine fusion surgery. That does not sound pleasant at all. And I hate that you're going through that. Hopefully it all goes well. Oh, there goes my compressor. See? Let me go ahead and turn that off real quick. Okay. Sorry about that. But anyway, James, I hope things go smooth for you and it solves whatever ailment, is involved with all that. That can be a complex surgery, I'm sure. And yeah, hope it goes well. Concho, where is your shop at? Well, it's in Georgia, south of Atlanta. But it's just a home shop. It's not some big business. It's just a home shop. So south of Atlanta. Leonard, afternoon all. How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Brendan? Okay. Check in with Brendan. And Brendan's been, I don't know if I haven't seen many videos recently from Brendan. I know he's got that Mustang and he also has a Prefect. I think he bought didn't you buy another Prefect or something? Or am I wrong? Am I thinking I thought you bought another one, but I could be wrong. Anyway, and Greg's Workshop is checking in. Glad you're here, Greg. So anyway, I've been wet sanding on the car, and I've been posting videos on TikTok, experiment with that. And so I posted some videos about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it and stuff, and making preparations. And I had some people comment that because I'm sanding it with a DA and 400, they're like, oh, you can't do that. It'll be wavy. You can't do it. It won't work and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you just don't know what you're doing. You're trying, you're pushing, you're doing too much. When you have a DA, great big open surfaces, it's fantastic. Places where you have transitions, you got to be real gentle, kind of, as I call it, dancing the DA through the curve and get it straightened up. So I've, I did all that. I did the 400 and like I said, the TikTok stuff. And then today I posted one where I had wet sanded the right rear quarter with 600 wet sand. And then I took some, the JX101 wax and grease remover after I wiped everything off and I just sprayed it because that'll show you. It's just kind of I don't know if it's a tip or a trick, but if you have some wax and grease remover in a spray bottle and you want to see how your work looks, you can take that stuff and spray it on and coat that panel and it'll show you if there's a wave or anything. It's pretty good at that. And it's temporary, it's almost like just a short-term clear coat in a way. So you can spray that on and then look at it and go, oh, okay, well, this spot right here is a little still bad, and work on it. So anyway, we've done that all the time at the body shop, just as a kind of a test. So I showed that, the right rear quarter looks fantastic as it should. There are new quarters, but anyway, let's see. Brendan, yeah, he bought another prefix for parts. Okay. I thought I'd seen one or seen a video on that. And Greg says, yes, he has two now. Leonard, how are you doing on Hot Wheels collection, Brendan? Any new ones? Oh, there you go. Good question on that. And Troy Justit. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. It's okay. Glad you're here. John Pritchard. Hi, Barry. Love the videos. They really help me as I'm restoring my dad's 65 coupe. About to paint. Base clear. Any suggestions on budget-friendly paint? What about Eurochem base SPI clear? Shopline. I use Shopline. That's pretty much all I use. And I'm okay with that. The clear coat I've been using, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know if they make it anymore. I've had this clear sitting here. Shelf life on a clear coat, from what I was told, is 7 years. 7. And the clear coat that I have is Value Pro. I'm sure they still make it, but I don't know where you get it because my PPG store quit carrying it. But that's what I've been using. I've also looked online, on Amazon and stuff, and you can get like clear from House of Color delivered to you. And I think House of Color is pretty good stuff. But I have not messed with much else beyond the Shopline base coat and that Value Pro clear. I did buy some probably more generic clear for some light collision jobs that I've done where, it's not the most high-end stuff. It's not on a really super nice car anyway. So I've used some of that, and that has worked fine. Clear is not cheap. I was looking to upgrade the clear coat spray on Jade. It was $500 a gallon. I was like, I'm not going to park this car outside. It's not going to be out in the weather. $500. No, not going to do it. I have a little tip. Not a little tip today. So we had the tip on the JX101 sprayable, degreaser, and using that to check your body work. Well, I had a conversation with Harvey, Rally Cat Garage, about the drip rails and what kind of sealer you put in there and how you get it in and how, because I think back in the day they just had basically, I think, a caulking gun, nothing more complicated than that. And they would just shoot it in and probably either used a hand, a finger, and just pressed it in and let it rip. I don't think they did anything super complicated. Well, when you're working on that stuff, you dig out some of that old caulking or sealer, and because it's cracked and and you clean it all up. Well, you kind of want to make that back into that rain gutter again, right? So I've tried a couple different things over the years. The conversation with Harvey was he had bought some self-leveling type of seam sealer, which works. I mean, it does the job. And I was experimenting with my brushable seam sealer. And I've used that in the past. I've actually taken a brush or a popsicle stick and kind of pressed it in, and it works, but it's just not fantastic. So I had an area as I was sanding on the car, I realized that the driver's side rain gutter, the piece that I had sectioned in a piece, there wasn't enough seam sealer in that gap. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to get this all over the place. What's an easy way that I could do it? Well, one idea was to use those syringes. I have like little, they're not medical syringes. They're kind of like, I don't know what you call it, science syringes, where you can, like, I think at the vet, if you want to give your dog an oral something, you can put it in a syringe and just squeeze it into his mouth, put it deep in his throat, just a generic type of syringe. So I used to use those all the time I use it to evacuate or remove brake fluid from a master cylinder. I can just draw it out, put it into another container, works great. Well, I was going to try that with the syringe and say, oh, hey, Jeff, thank you, man. Cool beans. Give you a couple bells for that. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. So I was trying to see what I could do to fill that gap without getting, again, all over the place. And I had an epiphany. You ever had one of those? Epiphany. I I had a plastic bag sitting on my desk where I'll put like nuts or bolts or something in one of these, and I thought, why not? I could do it like decorating a cake. You put ice. They put icing in a bag, and they can angle it and get it. Whatever pattern. They can make little flowers and who knows what swirlies. I don't know. So I thought, I'll just do that. So I did. I just took a little Ziploc bag, just cut just a little corner off, and I packed it with, I didn't know how much I was going to need, so I just put a spoonful of seam sealer in there, twisted up the bag like they do on those shows, where they sit there and they decorate the cakes, and I was able to get that. Created a point. I was able to get it down in that groove and just squeeze it into it, and then it was almost perfect. And then I took I had a glove on, so I just had to put a little lacquer thinner on my glove and just swipe through it. Fantastic. So there's a little tip for you. You can use this, and this also works in other areas. Like I was looking at where my overlap was from the tail panel to the corner transition, and I didn't like that there wasn't quite enough there. I was like, you know what? Let me try that. And I just squeezed it out nice, took care of it. So I get a bell for that. Somebody's probably already thought of it, but it just hit me. Rick, ding, ding, ding. Just got off the phone with the body shop. They got my quarters and we'll be back on my car next week. That is good news. Karsten, afternoon all. How are you doing? Pretty good. Glad you're here. Robert, afternoon all. Just walked in the door. There is no drywall mud to be had in Dallas, Fort Worth. I checked. Okay. No drywall mud. It's funny. What's not funny? You mentioned that. A few weeks ago, we had that big cargo ship get stuck in the Suez Canal. And I've heard that now there's like tons and tons of ships out on the West Coast trying to queue up to get unloaded. They're weeks behind on getting materials. It's probably out there. You may want to just drive out to the West Coast, check with Guido since he's part of that. And, maybe there's a couple of buckets there you can just pick up right off the ship. Might be worth the trip. But along with that, we had something come up. And again, we all know there can be a created shortage, or there can be, a man-made shortage, or it could be from timing to where the ships can't make it over here or whatever. And there is a company that we buy our dog food from. Now, this is just a little thought on that we buy our dog food from. And it's through Tractor Supply, and the company is called 4Health. And occasionally, we'll see a gap whenever they're short on dog food. And normally we have enough, to get us through a couple of weeks and buy more, you know how it works. Well, I went to Tractor Supply to get some more dog food, and they were all out of that particular brand. And I was like, well, wait a minute, you shouldn't. They were like completely gone. Every single can was gone off of that shelf. I said, what's going on? I said, where's your, are you getting a truck in soon? And they said, we've been out for 6 weeks. Well, I think he said 6 weeks. I don't know if he really meant 6 weeks or if the company ran out 6 weeks ago. He said, the guy at the store, that they couldn't get. Now, this doesn't make any sense to me because it's dog food. It comes in steel cans. He said they can't get aluminum. Now, maybe he meant steel. I don't know. But he implied that they couldn't get metal. And I can only assume he meant steel. But at this point, the company can't can their dog food, which sounds really bad. You think about it. This whole cycle that we go through all over the world, there's supply, demand, and then there's cycles. They follow it. It's kind of like Walmart tracks everything that they sell, and if they see a push on something, they try to get more in to keep the flow going. Well, we do that with everything in life. Everything we have, everything, in production we have in the world, there's a flow, push and a pull, to keep that whole cycle moving through. So, you think about it like a dog food company, that's not material that you can generally sit on, obviously. So that could be a big problem. It's just like we have I call it the fake shortage of lumber. The prices have skyrocketed and gone crazy for no reason. And no reason I can see. They talk about all the new construction going on and this sort of thing. But again, it's a push and pull. You have companies making things, right? Well, I can tell you that all of the stores now, maybe it's not sheetrock mud, obviously, but all the stores here in town where I live and around the community, they're stocked to the gills. They're stuffed with all the wood you can want or need or whatever. They are packed. They are storing it outside now in big areas because they have so much lumber on hand. And I've said before, I drive for Uber Eats and I deliver food. And there's an area here, Union City, Georgia, not far. I drive by an area that is a massive lumber yard. Massive. They have stuff piled everywhere. I mean, there are stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of lumber throughout that whole place. And it's probably, it might be 8 or 10 acres of land. And it is just packed with wood. So, but as Leonard brings up, good point, Leonard. Good point. Has anyone heard about anything about there might be a gas shortage this summer because they can't find drivers to deliver it? I have not heard that, but I would not be surprised. And the reason I say that, again, I'm part of the customer, let's say, supply chain with Uber. I'm now finding that restaurants that I go to are short-staffed, like everywhere. There's a Chipotle that I deliver from. They don't even take walk-in customers now because they don't have enough people to man the counter. They don't have enough people to man the counter. So they only do online orders or drive-through. That's it. And so whenever I go to do my deliveries, I'm like, I can't get in the store because the front door's locked. I have to go to the drive-through or walk up to the drive-through window and say, hey, look, I've got some orders here. So I've seen that at that place. I've seen it at a whole bunch of restaurants. I mean, everywhere. They're short-staffed. And, it's like, well, wait a minute. Where are all the people? Why are they not working? What are they doing besides work, But anyway, again, we have a whole push-pull system in our entire world where you can only make so much and only take so much to keep that cycle moving. And like Leonard's saying, you can have all the gas in the world, but if you don't have somebody to deliver it to the stations, it doesn't do any good. So that could create a whole ripple through the whole economy. Lots of crazy stuff out there. Sorry, I kind of got off on a little tangent. Greg, I tape it up, wipe it in, then take tape off. Yeah. The hard part is with a rain gutter, it's really hard to get in that rain gutter, to tape it that way. Jessica, sorry for being late. I was playing with little cars. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Robert, same here with lumber. Even though they're building thousands of houses here, there's no shortage of lumber, just a shortage of people that can afford it. That is true. I mean, I read the other day, I follow a page, Barndominiums. If you look at, what a barndominium is, which is my ideal house I would like to be in. They are saying on there, they showed pictures where some stores are getting $97 for a sheet of plywood. $97 for a sheet of plywood. That's just crazy. Scott, I've heard that new car production is severely reduced due to shortage of computer chips used in vehicle components. Used car market values have increased. That's very possible too. Very possible. Bob, unemployment been paying $300 extra a week. That's why they don't want to work. Okay, that's probably a good point. That's probably a very good point. Why would they? I don't blame them if they can be unemployed and make more money than they were making before, because that's how big government runs things. Um, that's I can't blame them. Robert, people are making more staying at home right now. Yeah, I wish I was. I wish I was. But in fact, I mentioned that I had a message from Uber, and the message was basically, let me see if I have that on here still. Um, where did it say it? It was basically asking for me to get other people to drive, which is normal. They want more people to drive because just a broader base so they can cover more people, more areas. But the normally if somebody signed up, like say like I signed up under my daughter's name, and after I made 300 deliveries, I think it was, she ended up with $600, which is fine. But now they're trying to say they want me to get people reinterested. So like if she had signed up and hasn't delivered in over a month, and I can get her to get back to it, then they're going to give me $200 because of getting her reactivated, kind of thing. And it's kind of crazy. You think about it, that people, I mean, obviously people would rather sit at home and not do anything and get paid for it. I don't want to sit at home that much, not that much. But I've been finding too that, like I said, these restaurants they're understaffed. I'll get Uber notifications from distant areas. Like normally I try to keep you, I give you like a let's say 10 miles or 15 miles around your circle, wherever you're at. And then it keeps on expanding that. It's like, we'll pay you a ton of money if you do this delivery, because it's way out of your zone. I say ton of money. It's not a ton of money, but you get the idea. It's more than you would normally get paid. So they're trying to get drivers doing their part to help keep this cycle moving. Got to keep stuff moving. Jessica, yeah, yes, that's very true. Ford and Dodge are hurt the most. Talking about the chips. Nick Pixel checking in. Glad you're here, Nick. Glad you're here. Scott, Troy. Well, for some good news, my back ordered parts will finally come in. Woohoo! CJ Pony. Okay, well that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Karsten, I have. Let's see. I have lived long enough to remember it was like that in 1985. 2007 usually ends with. Using different words for me, Karsten, aren't you? It was like that in 85, 2007. It usually ends with. I don't know what that word means. Is that a word in your country? Because I don't know what that means. Is that a slang word? Because I know I've had that before with Derek Pro. He would use slang words from Australia that I was like, I don't know what that means. So you might have to enlighten us. Ends with, I don't know what that means. I have no idea. So I'll wait for Karsten to fill me in on that. So anyway, I've been trying to get like I said, get stuff done for the Mustang, get it ready for paint. I've also been working on the motorcycle, and it's been really good to have. I think really good for me to have that motorcycle right now in my time, because I'll admit, sanding on the car is boring. Sanding on the car is tedious. It's got to be done, but it's also, I have to stop. I do some, and I got to walk away. I can't keep looking at it. For one thing, you start missing. I think you start missing things when you try to do it all at once, and you could easily miss something. So I've been doing the motorcycle stuff. Now I have another video to make on that. hopefully I can get that out tomorrow. Like I said, I don't have a Mustang video to go because uh, it's just not in my sequence right now. But the motorcycle video you can see right now, I got I don't know how big this is, but anyway, I have that rear fender built the way I wanted it, and I did some cool stuff with that. I think you're gonna like that in the video. You know, you get creative. Sometimes you need. Oh, I'm out of focus. Okay, so I got creative with the side marker or the turn signals, and I really like the way it turned out. I really like the way it turned out. Leonard, I don't know how the Lyft and Uber drivers are there, but they're a pain, and have been causing accidents. Well, you know, I can't say for sure how the statistics are for that. I have not. I mean, I'm not in contact with other people that, other than I meet them at a restaurant or something. You know, I find out they work for Uber, DoorDash, or something like that, and I have not seen, you know, anything along those lines as far as accidents and that sort of thing. But I know personally, I will admit, I don't take my time when I deliver. Just say that. The idea is I'm on the clock. So like if you're doing a delivery and you know it's point A to point B, well, that time between point A and point B is deducted from the time that you now can deliver the next one to point C, or pick up the next one and go to point C, type of thing. So I try to be as quick as I can to get my deliveries in, but also careful. Got to be safe. Mr. Cyrano found my first barn find, 1971 Mach 1. It's like the one in 007. Been stored since 1985. Wow. That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Okay, so Carson says, end with a boom. All right. So I guess I don't know what that word is, though. Bang. So is it bang or bange? I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to say that. But it means ends with a boom. And that does make sense. I've been there too. Ricard, more good news. Engine compartment painted and now in the process of putting the car back together. Oh, yeah. That is good news. That's awesome. I know you're looking forward to driving that car. That's good news. Scott, do you ever do your sanding outside on nice days to cut down the dust in the paint area? Yes, I've done that. And it actually helps, to have the sunlight help, you can see a lot of times better. The difficulty with that in my case, where I have my paint booth outside is just grass. So, I'd pull it out. If I pull it out in the grass, then it can, I'm not saying it would be contaminated or anything like that, problems, but I've in this case, I find it better to just leave it in the garage, leave it closed up, and I'll blow out the garage later, which I normally do every day. I blow out all the junk in there, but yeah, I have done that, and it is helpful to do it outside, definitely. Mr. Cyrano, fine sanding sucks. I put a TV in the garage just to listen to it, helps break the monotony. Yeah. Well, and I've said it before, whenever I'm doing sanding or anything, whatever I'm doing, I can't have a radio on when I'm filming. I just can't, because it's copyright, blah, blah, blah on YouTube. So if there's a ZZ Top song playing in the background, even though it's not part of the video, then ZZ Top gets all the credit for that video. So I can't have anything on, which can be a struggle. I used to do a lot before I was all, filming everything, have the, music cranked and just go. And the only good part about any of that, is whenever I do my time-lapse videos, because the time-lapse doesn't record the audio. It only does a time lapse, so that I can actually I'll have music on and be able to do my time lapse, and that's a good benefit for that. So anyway, yeah. Robert, if you notice in my videos, I have earbuds in. Yes, I'm listening to music when I am filming. Yep. The only problem I have with that, the earbud thing, is I usually can't get them to stay in my ears for whatever reason. They won't stay. I have that problem with all kinds. The only things that works for me is like headphones. Those will stay on my head, but earbud type things, I've never had good luck with those. Karsten. Oh, okay. Engine compartment painted. What color did you go? White. I think he's asking. Ricard. I think he's asking Ricard. Okay, Ricard says I painted it semi-gloss black. Yep, that's a good choice. Greg Barry, the seat and tail light looking good. Yes, yeah, and like I said, the if you saw the very first video on that bike, whoever worked on it before, I mean, they were a good metal worker. They had good intentions and good ideas, but they were, they were building it like a tank, heavy metal. The interaction between the seat and the taillight and everything else all relied on 2 bolts. And if you ever needed to take the seat off to, let's say, change the battery or charge the battery, anything like that, well, you'd end up taking out the 2 bolts, and that would take off the whole back fender, the lights, and then you could get the seat pan off to get to the battery. So with my design, it's independent. Like the seat pan is independent, and you can take it off with 2 wing nuts. Be done. Take those off, pull the seat pan off, you're done. The fender stays fine, and the taillights and everything else be fine. But I wanted it to be different because the original, well, I say original, the other guy that put on the taillight stuff, the taillight and the turn signals, he had all kinds of brackets, and it was just chunky looking, and it was not smooth. It just didn't have a good feel to it. It was just kind of like, I don't know, just run some bolts through it and stick this on and see what it looks like. So what I wanted to do was make it look like the bike, or let's say the turn signals were part of the bike. And so I had a few different ideas. Then I talked with Dan, the owner, and I ended up taking the turn signals and I Frenched them in to the fender. So they're tucked in to the fender. So you can, I mean, they stick out, but the mounting points are Frenched in. So it looks really cool. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Jessica, okay, my husband is a truck driver, so I know that to run fuel, a person would need a Class A license, a tanker, and hazmat endorsements. None of these are easy or cheap to get, plus, yes, over the road to get job. Yes. Yep. And I don't know what the parameters are right now. Are people just leaving and not doing it anymore? Again, I point out it's a consumer. We're a consumption society. We have to have things continually making that loop. We take something, we give something. We take something, we give something. We take something, we give something. In fact, in the production world, let's say, like we used to do training for the processes we had at work, and there were several different ideas, and one of them, I think it was called drum buffer rope. And like the drum was the beat of your system. So how things, if I remember correctly, it was like, everything should move to the beat of a drum kind of thing. And then you'd have a buffer that would allow for any variables. If there was something wrong or you were short on something, the buffer would kind of consume that or be consumed out of the buffer. And then you backfill the buffer and just keep on flowing. And then the rope idea was it's somebody pulling something in. So the next guy at the machine, he has a cue where he can pull in the next item type of thing. And that's the way our society is. It's all about continual flow. We have to keep things moving. Um, there was a video that I watched years ago on Harley Davidson and how they turned around their company. And one of the things they talked about was like the supply chain for the motorcycle company. So they had an assembly line, and they had these carts. It was really simple when you think about it, but they had these carts, and these carts had lights on them up on the top. And basically, at each point in the assembly process, you would have a guy like putting on, let's say, gas tanks, or putting on fenders, or putting on handlebars, whatever the task was. And so he would get this cart that had, let's say, 6 finished gas tanks on it, or fenders, whatever. He would take those and he'd put them on the bikes as they went through. When he got to the last fender and he took it off, he would flip the switch on the cart, work on the bike and get the tank on. And there's guys in the back. It's solely their job to restock that. So the guy would take the cart away and bring back a new cart full of gas tanks again, whatever the number, 6 or 7 or 8 or 10, whatever the number is. And it was just an idea that you never have to have somebody waiting for the next item in the chain. And that's where we're at in the whole world. There's people that are producing things, building things, buying things, whatever, consuming things. And so anytime there's a disruption in that, it just doesn't disrupt the moment of that time. It also disrupts everything past that. That's why, Rick was they said they were having trouble getting quarter panels, or Robert can't get sheetrock mud. There's a whole, and you don't think about it very often. It's like we go to whatever store, we go to, the grocery store, and we want milk and bread and cheese and peanut butter. Boom, 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 boom. Got it. Go. And then there's the days like it's not there. It's like, well, now what do I do? What do I do? Where do I go? Kind of like the dog food thing. Where do I get my dog food from? I even drove to another town to try to find the dog food for our dogs. They were out. So it was definitely not just a simple, local type of thing. Jessica, when filming, use earbuds to listen to tunes. Pro tip. Yeah, if I could get them to stay in, that would be nice. Then you might hear me just start singing. Might be doing some, hey, start singing some weird song. Ricard sent some pictures of the engine compartment if Carson and the rest are interested. Well, let me see if those showed up. Oh, yeah. We download those quick. Come back over here. And I hope that the internet is working okay today, because I'm kind of still haven't resolved all the issues. And there was a company out, well, some surveyors out on the road in front of my house today. I don't know what they were doing. They didn't have any, no truck with them. They were just walking. And they said, oh, we're from AT&T. We're looking to maybe get fiber on this street. And I was like, oh, okay. We'll see how that goes. So here's some pictures from a card showing his engine bay. That looks nice. Let me pull that comment off there so we can. That looks good. Whoops. Yeah, Ricard, I know you're going to enjoy putting that all back together now. That's got to make you happy. That's got to make you happy to see it like that. Solid. The way it should be. Okay, so there, Carson, I hope those pictures were good enough for you. You can see it. J. Mark, let's talk about Trans Ams. Well, Trans Ams, pros and cons. What's your favorite Trans Am? T-tops or no T-tops? Me, I think 77 is the one I like. The Bandit. Not necessarily the Bandit car, but the Bandit, that with a nose ahead on that one. I think 77, 78. After that, I didn't like it. I didn't like the front end anymore. Yep. You have a 73 Trans Am. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. 73. Okay. So what year? Let me think. I know they went through a transition with the back windows because the 71, 72, maybe 73. What was it, 74, 75 where they changed the shape of the back windows? I think there's a difference where the window wraps around more. So J Marks is 76 through 78. After that, they did get ugly. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's the same car. It really is the same car, 78, 79. But the nose was just terrible on those cars. It's just not a good thing. So J Mark saying 74 was the last year. Okay. So 74 was the last year for the more slope back window. 75, it went more into the quarters, right? Same way with the Camaro. Yeah, of the small window. Yeah, that's what I thought. Somewhere around there. I knew it was close. I was thinking 75 was the year, but we'll give you a bell for letting us know it was 74. But yeah, I remember as a kid, if you ever watched the Rockford Files, right? The Rockford Files, James Garner. What did he drive? He drove, well, I don't even know if it's a Firebird, really. Because wasn't there like a more of a base model? What was the name of it? There was a name for it. I don't know if was it a Firebird or not that the Rockford Files car, drove. Let's see, Karsten. My motor has to come out next winter so I can paint it, and I have a crack in the shock tower I have to fix. That's never fun. That's never fun. Hopefully you can get that welded up nice, make it solid. J Mark, the 79 later never looked finished in the front. Yeah, it's because of the safety regulations. It just put that big rubber nose out there. Really bad. Really bad. Greg likes the way the front end looks. Yeah, he drove a Firebird, but I think it was like a because they had the Formula. Gosh, I know they had different names, but there was. I think we talked about this once before that he drove a different one. I want to say it's something with a T. I could be wrong. It wasn't a Trans Am. I know that. It wasn't a Trans Am. But that was a highlight. As a kid, anytime we watched those shows, we kind of like those cars. Berlinetta, I think, is a Camaro. Smokey. I think the Camaro, that's a Berlinetta is a Camaro. I think that's a Camaro version. Jessica, Trans Am Pro, lots of parts are shared in other GM lines. Con, what's with the 6.6 liter sticker? Yeah. Why does it have a 6? Why did they go 6.6 liter? What was up with that? I agree. That made no sense. J Mark, Esprit. That's what it was. Esprit. 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 Yep. Garner's. They said it was a Formula with a regular hood. Esprit. Yep. I knew it was a T in there, but it's a silent T. I knew the T kind of stuck in my head. So there it is. Troy says Firebird. It's Esprit. It's a weird word, but that's how they were. But anyway, as kids, we watched those shows, and then it's like, oh, I want to have, and that's how it is. They advertise. It's basically kind of sort of an advertising technique that you see these actors and stuff driving these cool cars. You're like, I'd like to have one of those someday. That's the whole reason we have Bullet. Jessica, they say that ugly stuff about my 73 to 77 Chevelles. Yeah. And again, that's kind of I mean, I like those. I like the Laguna S3. I really like the looks of that car, but I can, the transition between the early Chevelle or 72 Chevelle to the 73 and up was pretty dramatic as far as shape. And I think people were somewhat turned off by that. I guess they really didn't consider them muscle cars, even though I think you get the early ones with a big block in them, like a 454. I think I don't remember exactly, but I know that they were still somewhat performance cars, but yeah, they were. I think some people were turned off, just like the Monte Carlo. Whenever it went from the great big battleship 72, I think 73 is 73. They went to the longer. It looked different, similar, but it wasn't the same. And then, of course, it went even different further, in the early 80s. Carson shall probably make a reinforcement. I guess he's trying to say should probably make a reinforcement to the shock tower. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I think if you look, I don't know where the crack is, but I'm pretty sure there's a difference between a small block and a big block car as far as the reinforcement inside of the shock tower. I think you can buy, don't quote me on this, but I think you can buy that plate, that fits the shock tower and weld it in. If it's on the inside, I think you can buy that. But I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. I think. Ricard says he reinforced his shock towers. Yes. So I don't know did you use that kind of plate thing I was talking about? Okay, he says you can see it in the pictures. So let me go back to the pictures. See, I can't see these pictures are what shows up on my screen is about the size of a picture like you'd hold in your hand. That's about all I see on my screen. I don't know why it won't let me do I think I could do full screen. Like I could make it bigger on my computer, but I would lose my comments and stuff. So I don't know who's talking. But let me see here. That looks really good. It does. And I can't make anything out other than the basics of the shapes. So, okay. So Ricard says he made his own plates. Okay. Cool. Brian Bergman. Hello all. In late today, sunny and 70 today. Love it. Cool. Glad you're here. Scott, you can download a pattern or buy from WCCC. I don't know who WCCC is, but I don't know if that's available for Karsten. I think he's in Denmark. I think. But if you download the pattern, like Scott's saying, again, I don't know who WCCC is, but Brian says he's also in the process of making those same tower braces. Yeah, maybe I can look at them on my. Hold on. Oh, now I see it. I can pull it up on my computer, from the email. You put the braces on the inside. Yeah. Now I see what you're talking about. I couldn't see that on my because I was talking about on the inside in the engine bay itself. The big block cars have bracing, if I remember correctly. But now I see exactly what you're talking about with the filler pieces on the outside. Yeah, that looks good. That all looks real good. I mean, it looks even better because I can now zoom it in on my my computer. So, West Coast Classic Cougars. There you go. So you can download a template, and WCCC delivers worldwide. Well, so Karsten, maybe you can just buy the template if you want, or make your own. Jessica, I can't speak for your internet as I'm using a phone for my internet. I can say that your YouTube has been acting as if it has a head cold lately. Other live streams have had troubles this week. I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Brian, they're outside below control arm bearer. Yes. I did a repair. I didn't do that patch. On Jade, it had some rust through in that area. And so I just made a new piece. I had treated all the metal, and I made a cap that went inside. I didn't do the angle, so it's just kind of a cap. Carson, the cracks between the two holes. Someone made for greasing it. Someone made some holes for greasing it. Okay. Yeah, that's without being able to see it, you should be able to weld it up and make a on the inside in the wheel well area, the inside the tower, be able to come up with a doubler for that to strengthen it. Let's see. Okay. All right, Robert. That brace also keeps dirt out of that area and stops rust. Yes. Yeah, I do like that design. I guess I'll admit, I typically don't do a lot of research on things. Like, I get an idea and I may troubleshoot my idea and build something or modify something, and then kind of see these other things later. It's like, oh, that was a good idea. Maybe I should have done it that way. But most of the time, I come out pretty good with what I come up with. And I'll point this out. If you haven't, Steve, from the Footage Factory, he's been on here several times. He did a video on throttle linkage. He made his own throttle rod linkage. And it was kind of cool, and you can buy those things. And I think, as I was saying, sometimes you build stuff without knowing that there's other ideas or that it already exists. And so he built a throttle linkage that he had seen somebody else build, and it turned out really nice. I think he did a good job with it. But that's kind of the way sometimes you build something and you're like, oh, wait, there was another way to do that. So Jessica, big block up to 74 in Chevelle and Monty, 75 last year. Big block in El Camino, 455s. How about the same fate? Yeah. And the only thing I know for sure I keep up with, like, I say I keep up. I'm familiar with the 78 and up Malibu. I mentioned it before. It's rare to find that body style, the boxy, 78 and up, was 83, I think, maybe 85, 84, somewhere in there. The boxy Chevelle Malibu, it never became a Chevelle. It was Malibu after that. But if you find one of those with a V8 and a 4-speed, rare. And I found some at a car show locally, and I was dumbfounded because I'd never seen one. Now, I did see a wagon, a later production wagon that had a 4-speed in it, but this was the regular two-door hardtop, two-door sedan, I should say. And the guy had two of them. And I was like, how did you end up with two of these? Well, they were actually V6 cars. They were V6, and I think, I don't know if they were 4-speed or 3-speed cars. But my point being, a 78 Malibu, that's the last year. It's the first year for that body design, but it's also the last year that you could get a 350 engine in that car. At 79, they went to a 305. So the 78 is kind of unique. You could have ordered it with a 350, but you could also get it with a 4-speed and bucket seats and a console and all that stuff. And I'd still like to find one. I have an affection for those cars for some reason. I just think they're cool. But this guy had two of them, and he had built them to that spec. Had taken V6 cars and converted them over to V8 cars, and I was really impressed. They were really sharp cars. Greg, they look like they're made out of 5mm steel. Talking about the bracing. Okay. Mason, hey, Juday's Garage. Guess what I bought in a Goodwill today? A Midland Weather Radio. Now I just have to figure out what code to punch in for my county. Okay. Yep. I'm not sure how that's how you figure that out. Also, how can I get better reception with my weather radio? I don't know, man. I don't know. Brian, on my Fairlane, I am boxing lower control arms, installed tube Shelby drop uppers, and the mentioned bracing. That's all mods I will do on mine. That sounds good. Robert, there was also the Iraqi taxi, bunch of leftover parts thrown together. Okay. The Iraqi taxi. I'm guessing you're talking about parts bin raid on the GM stuff. Because I guess I've not heard that term before. Jessica, no need to post this comment. Oh. But not to take up the feed or for others. Anyone can message me on YouTube or Instagram if they want more A-body facts. So there you go. It's posted. Now we know. Okay. Well, we still have 34 people watching. But again, on Thursdays, I try not to go too long. I still have things to do. I have technically 2 videos to edit to get out on the web, and trying to keep that feed going. I hope you all liked the if you saw the plasma cutter video. It did a job, and it's probably just as good as the one I got from Harbor Freight. I mean, they're all made in China. At least it seems that way. But it did the job. And I don't know yet if I'll get rid of the other one that I have and keep using the new one that I have. I haven't decided yet. But I really do. I mean, I liked it. I did. So if you haven't seen the video, go check it out. And if you're interested, you can follow the links and get one there. Robert, it was a Malibu with a 6-cylinder stick, small radiator, etc., put together and were made to be taxis in Iraq. Okay. Interesting. So was it a V6? I assume it was a V6. I assume. Ricard, keep it good work. Jay look great, and I look forward to seeing it painted. I do too. And at this point, it's probably going to be next week before I get paint on it. Just things, aren't quite lined up just yet. So I'll have to get that taken care of. Or get those things taken care of. Brian, I'll be interested to know the 220 volt performance on the plasma and the price. Well, if you want, go to the link that's posted on the in the description. I have a link for the company, and I think they have them on sale right now. If I remember, it showed that I think they have them on sale. Normally they're $399. I think they had it on sale for $359. I think, but I can't see why it's got to be more, obviously more powerful with the 220. So, but that's all I can tell you. Dawn checking in with Betsy. Yeah. I'm trying to encourage Dawn to start a YouTube channel. I really think you should, Dawn. I really do. I think you could probably, if you have those old videos, you said you lost control of your other channel. I think you should start a new channel. You're sharing some good information, and I think people would really like to see it. So I encourage you to think about that if you haven't already. I sent you an email on that, but okay. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to call it a day. I've got to finish sanding this car. I've got a few other things I need to take care of, but it's been great having everybody here. Today was a good flow. I mean, an hour went by pretty quick, faster than I thought it would, faster than maybe it does at other times. But anyway, so we'll be back on Monday night at 7. Hopefully, I will remember to post the notice to YouTube sooner because I forgot about it today until late, and we'll do this again. But thanks for being here, and have a good weekend. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.